Okay. Hi everybody and welcome to Betway's XYZ of betting. It's a competition where myself takes on Shakes Rampedi, who represents Generation Y. I've got the special Snowflake, who represents Generation Z, and me, Generation X. Old generation. You have 89, you have 88, and I have 86. The only caveat to that is that I've been down with a neck problem for last week, and while I was taking a bit of time away, Ollie contacted my PA, not me, for my picks, and my PA also was off for a couple of days yesterday. So I never got my 86 is minus a week. So I just want to let you know that you guys do anything to win this competition, especially Ollie. And I'm not that far behind actually, so I might have to give a bit more thought to this week. I think what we're seeing is a separation of the bottom three. You got Norwich, Watford, and Burnley, who are staking their claim to play in the Championship next year. Newcastle is showing life, undefeated in 4 games, won 3 of those. Can they keep it up? We've got Brentford, Leeds, Everton, and Newcastle all bunched next to anybody that may break away from the bottom 3, though I'm doubtful of that. And first up, we have Newcastle versus West Ham. West Ham.
I think Newcastle unbeaten in their last 5 games, I believe. Good win over Aston Villa last weekend. And West Ham pretty heavily favoured at home. There's still obviously a lot of drama surrounding the West Ham squad. We spoke extensively about it, last week. I'm
glad to see their owner come out in support in terms of getting that guy Zuma some help.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but I think I would not be surprised if it's a draw this weekend. West Ham have been sort of like
stuttering,
drawing games, stuttering, drew 2-2 to a Leicester side that's, neither here nor there. Newcastle have been looking really good there. I think Eddie Howe said, the reason we're doing so well is sort of like determination, grit, and this. And then I think it was on Flash Score or something said the £93 million. It's probably also helped a little bit that they've spent, but at least they've spent well.
Sounds a bit like Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got to give a prediction for this weekend. I'm actually going to go, I think, against the grain of the bookies, and I'm gonna call a draw. I think this could very well be a 1-1 draw in West Ham's backyard.
It could be. What do you say, Shakes?
Interesting. How's it, guys? So West Ham take on Newcastle United. It's very interesting as well. I think when West Ham almost lost to Leicester, they drew 2-2. You kind of saw the importance of why Zuma is in that side. They were beaten by a header by Pereira on one of the goals. So he's very crucial, but unfortunately he missed the game because he was unwell, as they would say. But I think he's going to return for this game. And on the other hand, they're facing a different Newcastle, picking up form, signings are coming in, but now there's a major blow, and that's Kieran Trippier's out for 6 weeks. So I think that's going to be the decider. So I'm going to go West Ham win, but just win, which is 2-1 win to West Ham.
Yeah, I think you're right. Zuma makes a big difference. He was probably wrapped in cotton wool as to not come in for too much abuse with the away fans last week. And him coming back, he's a solid football player. And I like them for a 2-1 victory over Newcastle as well. Let's not forget that West Ham are sitting 5th in the table. They've had a good campaign. And like every team, they've just sort of been had a relentless schedule. So at home, tough place to go and play if you're an away team. And I like West Ham to win 2-1, possibly 2-0.
Cool.
Who's up next?
We got Arsenal, Brentford. Your bogey team, Shakes. I believe Brentford was the beginning of that initial end for you guys. Pulled it back somewhat.
Look, I tell you what, I'm actually excited about this game. I'm excited as an Arsenal fan. As someone who's a football neutral, I think Brentford must be ready for what's coming for them, because I think this Arsenal side is very different as well. The signings have gelled in, but to be fair, we must also highlight that they scored their first goal of the year just last week against Wolves. And to beat Wolves away down to 10 men, they really showed some resilience as well. And let's not forget the 2-0 loss at the start of the season. I think revenge will be on Arsenal's minds. They can't afford another result where they sort of get a draw against Brentford or a loss. And I'm going to go with Arsenal. I'm going to go with Arsenal 3-0 win. And it'll be interesting to see because also Christian Eriksen actually played a behind the closed doors game for the under-23s, I think, and played really well. So does he feature? Would be nice as a football neutral, but I think Arsenal win that regardless whether he's in the side or not. 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of resonate there. I think 2-0 win for Arsenal. Kind of liked what you've seen a lot more than Brentford. I think Brentford's the wheels came off fairly early. Injury to their goalkeeper early in the season didn't help either, but I don't think we're going to be seeing the same kind of results as last time. Arsenal really also, as much as they haven't necessarily been netting a lot of goals, I think they're 11 or 12 clean sheets or something. About 11 or 12 red cards too, but if they can keep 11 players on the field, yeah, I think 2-0 victory for Arsenal.
Yeah, for me, Brentford came out of the blocks flying. Arsenal caught off guard that on the first day of the season. Sorry about that. And Arsenal had recently had a 5-game winning streak, which has turned into one win out of the last 6 games. 3 of those games, 2 against Liverpool and 1 against Man City. So playing the 2 top teams in the league. Brentford, the last 8 games, they've won 1 game, I think. They've drawn 1 game. They're in a real skid. Confidence is at an all-time low. And, they may even be sucked into that relegation battle as well. I see no other result than a 3-0 Arsenal win this weekend. Revenge on their mind. They're the better form side. And at home, all things showing green lights for a convincing Arsenal victory. So 3-0 for me. That's an easy one to predict. Aston Villa versus Watford.
Yeah, Aston Villa. A lot of noise about Aston Villa and under the new manager this and stuff, but they haven't won I think in 7 games. I think they are due one, obviously, and Watford's probably one of the teams you want to try get to secure that first win.
Yeah. Aston Villa did beat Everton 3 games ago, so it's.
Was it for the?
Yeah, they hammered them 3-1.
1 in 7 then I think.
But, no, it was 1-0.
But yeah, look, I think you got to back Aston Villa here, just because Watford really aren't that good.
No, and it's like Watford's Watford haven't won. Oh my God! Look at the state of that. The last win was against Manchester United.
Top 4 Manchester United.
12 games ago.
Yeah.
So they've won 1 in 13. I mean, it's a team that's reeling.
I'm going to go 2-0 to Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, this one, because I think Aston Villa, after the game against Newcastle, I like what Steven Gerrard said. He said they were just beaten too easily. It was too comfortable for Newcastle. And it was. When you watch the game, you're like, I'm not sure, man. And only 1 win in the last 5 for Aston Villa as well. I know how Roy Hodgson is going to set up. Can Villa break them down? They got Coutinho. Well, they've got Jacob Ramsey. So I think they can. So I will go with 1-0 to Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think that he's going to have an impact. You know what he's going to do. They're going to eliminate a lot of the stupid mistakes that they've been making on the field. But I do think that Aston Villa are a much better side, and I don't think Roy is going to accomplish any great escape with Watford. I think they're going down this year, and this will be another nail in their coffin. I agree with you, Shakes. 1-0 for Aston Villa.
Right. Next we have.
Who do we have up next?
We've got Crystal Palace playing Club World Cup champions Chelsea. Chelsea, a couple of injuries. sort of neither here nor there really in the Premier League. But Crystal Palace, have really not been great. I think, Thomas Tuchel's back now. He was sidelined with COVID, wasn't really able to sort of be managing from the side there, kind of making that machine work. And I like Chelsea to kind of come off the high of this Club World Cup. They've got incredible depth in that squad too, so even though you've got the likes of Reece James, questionable, Mason Mount injured, I think Chelsea, comfortably put 2 goals past Crystal Palace this weekend. I'm going to say 2-1 though.
2-1. What do you think, Shakes?
Yeah, so basically Chelsea, like you said, come off with a good form with regards to the Club World Cup as well, and having to win within the FA Cup as well. But I feel like back at the Premier League, it's back to the real world. Think it's back to reality. I think Lukaku scores against Al Hilal and Palmeiras and all that, but in the Premier League, it's kind of hard for him to score. And I can't feel that Crystal Palace is not that easy of a side to play against. And I think I'm going to go with a surprise result and say it's a draw. I think Chelsea drop points in this game. I think I'm going to go with a 1-0 draw.
Yeah, it's tougher because these sideline competitions and all, they distract. And you're right, the level of competition isn't the Premier League. And this is a derby. This is a London derby. Let's not forget that. Saying that though, I think that Chelsea will have a little too much quality for them. And no, you know what? I'm going to go for a draw. I like the draw. Sorry, guys. I the fact that it's at Crystal Palace, it's just something about coming back from traveling and playing another competition to get back into the feel of the Premier League. I think that Chelsea have they have a Champions League game the following week. So they've got a pretty tough schedule ahead of them, and I'm not exactly sure where their focus is going to be on that Champions League game or on the Crystal Palace. And in the Premier League, if you're not focused day in, day out, you can come undone. So I like the draw. I like a 1-1 draw in this match.
Right, and then incredibly inspiring game on Saturday. We got Brighton playing Burnley. Burnley, Liverpool, 1 goal against them, United draw against them, team slug it out against Burnley. Brighton haven't been fantastic either. For me, 1-1. This is a 1-1. Burnley are the kings of reducing teams to 1-1. And I think that's going to be the case once again.
Yeah, good shout, Oliver. I gotta say that's a very good shout. Strangely enough, if you watch the Burnley against the Liverpool game, I think there were times where I felt Liverpool were lucky. I'd lucky in the sense that Brighton were just so poor in taking chances. I think Weghorst could have had a brace at least, So they were just so lucky in that state, and then obviously Liverpool got the win. Brighton, they played much better football than Manchester United during the midweek, but they still lost 2-0. But that's Brighton. Play the ball well, keep the ball well, but still not being able to find a number of goals within the side. And I think Burnley gets this second win this weekend. I think they get the second win. It's going to be tough. And as well as Lewis Dunk got a red card against Manchester United. So he's going to be a huge miss. And already they had Dan Burn going to Newcastle United. So the defense is a little bit weak, and I think Burnley pull it out. I think they get a 1-0 win against Brighton.
Okay, well, I don't. Burnley haven't won in 13 games. They've drawn half of those, and 4 out of those 6 have been 0-0 draws. In order to win a game, you've got to be able to score, and that's clearly a problem that Burnley have. To win a game, you've got to not be able to concede, which is another problem that Burnley have. In fact, Burnley have more problems than almost any club in the Premier League. So I see Brighton taking advantage and coming right and winning this game comfortably 2-0. They're at home as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Right. Then we got Liverpool to pump Norwich.
Yeah.
4-0 at Anfield.
Well, let's just full disclosure that Oliver is a Liverpool fan. So is the cameraman. So on this one, he might actually shoot Ollie's good side. So if there's a bit of a Zoolander thing going on, that's because the cameraman and him are big Liverpool fans.
I mean, can you guys argue?
No, I can't. Norwich are definitely a better team under Dean. There's no doubt about that. What will be the motivation for Liverpool? Look, Liverpool have been brilliant. I thought that I think I wrote an article, or you wrote it for me, about Liverpool ending its challenge in the Premier League. And boy, every time I write an article, I look like an absolute dick.
Well, I think we were all surprised with how the equanimity with which they handled
the who?
Equanimity.
What? Can you get the dictionary? I have an idea what it means, but
just with how much ease they sort of handled Mane and Salah not being there, and how that team came together, and then up on return, Luis Diaz has sort of played his first two Premier League, or played his first Premier League.
How amazing was Diego Jota?
And I mean, Jota's been fantastic, and currently still, you've got I've said it 2 weeks in a row now, but all the Liverpool guys are the top scorers, and Trent's the top, the most assists, so. Yeah, I mean, I agree. They really have been fantastic.
8 wins, no losses, 2 draws in the last 10 games. You can do better, but not much better than that. And when you consider that they played almost, I'd say the vast majority of those games without Mane and Salah, and they were clinical again last night in beating Inter Milan. I like a 3-1 victory.
I think what was great about a game like last night was you saw Klopp's managerial, at 0-0 over 60 minutes, took a bit of a risk against an Inter side that was knocking on the door, and put on an incredibly attacking team. And what you saw was in the space of 10 minutes, 2 goals. Mo Salah's one not as well worked, but a very well worked first goal, and then Salah picking up some scraps and netting it. So that's, I think that was great to see that managerial class again. And, we have a certain game plan, we have a certain squad we're putting out, but if we need to adjust and take risks, we will too,
Now, when you look at Salah's contribution both to Liverpool and Egypt, and the fact that he's so far ahead in the Golden Boot, can there be any debate about who the PFA Player of the Year is going to be? It's a runaway, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned. 3-1 for me, Liverpool to beat Norwich. And well done to Liverpool, because if they win their game in hand, then they're only 6 points back. It's not out of the realms of possibility, And Man City haven't slipped up this year. They haven't had their...
got a game in hand.
Well, I said if they win their game in hand.
Oh, you said if they win this game.
No, if they win the game in hand, then they're 6 points back.
Yeah.
And, so what do you say, Shakes?
Yeah, Liverpool at home against Norwich. I've got good news for Liverpool fans. Luis Diaz is a really good signing. Oliver, you touched on the game last night in terms of how they played against Inter. I thought he was a huge change when he came on. The energy that he brought, and even the goal sort of came down from the left-hand side, Salah's goal as well. So that's a really good signing. And more good news is that I think Luis Diaz scores his first Liverpool goal this weekend. I think Liverpool win this game 3-0 and possibly a brace, but I'll keep it at 1 goal only for Luis Diaz. And the 3 goals that we scored.
Fantastic. Thanks, Shakes, for that. Then we have Southampton versus Everton. It's tough to get up for that one. Might need a few Viagras.
I mean, Everton really have been poor. Sort of 4 losses, then a win. Last weekend, but
a win, they hammered Leeds.
And Southampton, fairly indifferent, I think it's a game that could kind of go either way, given the nature of the 2 squads, but I'm going to have to back Southampton at home. They are slightly favoured by the bookies. Well, actually, not even slightly, they're 2.08, or Everton's 3.45. But I can see this being a 2-1 Southampton win.
Yeah, look, it's hard for me to bet against Southampton. They've had a decent run of form. They've undefeated in 4 games. They've put away Tottenham away. They've drawn with Man United, and they've drawn with Man City. So it's not as if they've had a powder puff schedule. Whereas Everton, on the other hand, not convinced with the Lampard signing. I never will be until he accomplishes something in managerial in a managerial prowess because he's done nothing, as far as I'm concerned. So for me, I like Southampton to win this 2-0.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad that you highlighted that Southampton played some really tough games. Coming from behind against United, coming from behind against Spurs, City they held on as well. And Everton, on the other hand, they played really well against Leeds. But Leeds, it's which Leeds you catch on the day. They open anyways with a lot of games that they play. So you ask yourself, is it the true reflection? Is it 3-0 back to winning ways and the spirits and everything? I'm not sure. So I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go with a draw in this one. I think it will be a 1-1 draw in this one.
Okay, then we have the last game on Saturday, and that's an 8-game schedule. Manchester City versus Tottenham. Will Man City be out for revenge after opening the season in spectacular fashion, losing to Tottenham?
Given the history of these fixtures, it wouldn't be absurd to take a tickle on Tottenham at 10-1.
Yeah.
It's like stranger things have happened.
Look, they're the best 10-1 bet you'll ever have to beat Man City, because on the day you never know. They've got players capable of individual brilliance. They've got Conte coaching. Harry Kane, I think people are still waiting for him to explode this year or show something. So you're right. 10-1 is not a bad bet, but would you rather just save your money?
I don't think City wins super comfortably though. I think it's a 2-1 to City, and a tighter game than what a lot of people are going to expect.
Well, Man City have I think undefeated in 12. I think they've won 11 of those. They've been beating teams for fun. Sporting they beat 5-0, Norwich 4-0, Brentford 2-0, Fulham 4-1. Let's not say they've just been filling the back of the net. But Tottenham is a different proposition. Saying that, I'll like Man City 2-0.
Chicks.
Oh man, you said all of that.
I know.
You said all of that, Kevin. What did you say City's gonna win?
Well, I'm just practicing for when I go on The Bachelor, and you build up the women and you keep the intrigue going, and you think you're gonna pick that one, and you don't. You pick the one with the parrot on her shoulder and one leg.
Oh, that is amazing. I love this show. So yeah, I actually think differently, guys. I think it's not gonna be close. I actually think it might be a really, really bad result for Spurs. They've already lost 3 in a row in the league, and I think it's going to become 4 in a row. And I think 4-0 lost to Manchester City. I think City are ruthless. Yeah. I think they're ruthless. I think they wrapped up the tie against Sporting in the first half. I think they scored 3-0 within the first half. They won 5-0 overall, but they've scored 16 goals in the last 5 games. They can't stop scoring. And when I look at that Spurs side, Davinson Sanchez, they're just so poor, man. I really think it's going to be 4-0 to City.
Okay.
Well, we know who Klopp's going to be cheering for.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.